Make sure I'm live now. All right. So guys, today I'm talking about asylum. It's been a while. How are you doing? It's been a long time. Is that lipstick on teeth? Should have left you without a dope beat to step two. Hey, step two. Anyway, guys. So guys, so today we're talking about asylum. So I don't know if you know anything about asylum, but to me this is probably next to VAWA. Asylum is like one of these benefits that people have no idea about, like really don't know nothing much about it. So when we talk about asylum, we're typically talking about a situation where somebody has fled their home country basically and is in danger. Okay, so has fled their home country because of some danger that they would normally experience or would have experienced in the past, you know, in their home country. So usually it's based on some harm that came to the person or their family members or their friend in the past when they were in their home country, or it's usually based on something that will happen to them if they were to return home. Okay, so usually the way I explain it in a conversation, I always say that with asylum. I usually say that with asylum, we're typically talking about a situation where you're fleeing your home country because of something you can't change about yourself. You know, something such as or should I say something you cannot easily change about yourself. So things such as your race, number one, your nationality, number two, number three, your religion, number four, your political opinion, and then finally, number five is your particular social group. Usually, that particular social group is usually something that's not related to the other four. So it's usually something such as female genital mutilation, you being someone who's been subjected to female genital mutilation, FGM, or you having a daughter or a sister or someone you know who has been subjected to FGM. And if you are to return home, you know, maybe something like that would happen, or something worse. Or maybe it's usually a situation like of maybe a domestic violence. Okay, so maybe you left your home country because your spouse was beating you like crazy. You know, I don't have a better way to say that. Or maybe you had a boyfriend or partner, right? That almost threatened your life because of domestic violence. So these are some other examples of other particular small groups that are not included in the first four that could qualify you for asylum. We also talk about things like gang violence. Maybe you fled your country because of serial gang violence. So most common example is the Latin American countries, like these mass exodus of small kids or young kids that enter the country without their parents, who were just put on a boat and basically told to come here because of the serious gang violence in Latin American countries. So those are some examples of some people who might qualify for asylum, right? And who are not necessarily, and who is not necessarily because of their race, their nationality, their religion, their political opinion. And of course, the most popular ones are things like, of course, FGM, female genital mutilation, and same-sex marriages. So these are some, or being someone who's gay or bisexual. These are some examples of people who, if they claim their lives are in danger in their home country, could usually have a good case for asylum. Okay, so that's asylum in a general. So in other words, you got to show that if you were to return to your home country, some bad's gonna happen to you, right? Somebody's gonna get killed, or you're gonna be put in some forced marriage if you're a woman, or they're gonna further circumcise you, further cut you up, FGM, further mutilate you, all right? Or you want to show that basically your life is in serious danger. Okay, I always put it's in a more simpler way. Let me put it in a simpler way. I always say it's like basically you need to show some blood was spilled either in the past, or blood will be spilled if you were to go back home. So show that either some blood was spilled in the past, okay, basically kind of situation, or blood will be spilled in the future if you were to go back home. That's in a nutshell asylum. Okay, now for asylum, you want to remember that typically you qualify for asylum typically anywhere Usually, if you can file for asylum within the first year of entering, you really increase your chances. That's actually what the law states. Then you do file for asylum within the first year of entering. Of course, most of our clients don't file for asylum within the first year, and that's where lawyers come in, of course, right? Most of the cases we lawyers handle are not for the cut dry cases. We usually make cases out of the ones, where there's like, something that's going to be contested. So most of my clients usually come to me after year 5, year 6. The stick keeps getting on my teeth. And that's when they're like, okay, wow, I'm just realizing I may qualify for asylum. I'm interested. Can I file? All right. So again, I want to say usually you want to file within the first year of entering, and if it's after the first year, doesn't mean you can't win. Doesn't mean you don't have an asylum case. It just means usually your lawyer or whoever is filing your asylum case has got to have a really good reason to show why you didn't file within the first year of entering. Uh, and so, of course, one common example is if your lawyer can show that you had something mental or psychological happening that caused you to really be with it at the time you came, and that that in other words caused a delay with you filing. Okay, so that's one example. All right, now once you get the asylum application filed, remember it's going to take a couple of years. All right, so asylum can take anywhere between 1 to 7 years from beginning to end. It's like the longest process ever. And for that reason, some people actually like it. Some clients love that about asylum. Some people love the fact that it gives you like 7, 8 years or however long it may take before immigration calls you for an interview. Some people like that. And what kind of client would like that? Maybe the one that doesn't really have any other thing that could qualify for them, or maybe the client that's just patient. All they want to do in life, in other words, is just work. Uh, I see that with some clients. Some clients don't mind how long it takes. Uh, for instance, Latin American clients usually don't mind that. African clients most times mind that more. So yeah, but most how can I say? Some clients like it, some don't. Some like the fact that it takes so long, so they can work, they can save up their money, and maybe go back home. For some people, that's what they want to do. And that now brings me to my next point. Remember, with asylum, you can't go back home, guys. Can't be going back home on asylum. If you do go back home on asylum, usually that's considered an automatic cancellation of your asylum, like you're abandoning asylum case if you go back to your home country. And again, this is where I always say you should hire a lawyer to do your asylum case, because I know so many people who just go home thinking, oh, I have an asylum case. They book a ticket and they go home. They go to, I don't know, Nigeria, Kenya, whatever. They just go back home without consulting a lawyer. And then when you're trying to come back in, that's when you realize, oh, shoot, I wasn't supposed to ever have gone back home. That's an automatic cancellation of my asylum case. All right. So with every other case, adjustment of status to marriage, with our case, you can go back home as long as you have a travel permit. With asylum, you can't. And by the way, with asylum, you need actually a travel permit. And with asylum, you can't get a travel. We can't even file for a travel permit anyway until it's approved. So for that 1 to 7 years while your case is pending, you can't get a travel permit. So the only benefit of asylum, again, is how long it takes. People like that, and the fact that you get a travel permit. Work permit, not travel permit, work permit. And people also like the fact that, again, it's just saving you time. So these are really the main benefits of asylum. Okay, I'm sorry. And it protects you from deportation in a sense, in a way. It's not all the way like VAWA that really gives you an actual stay on deportation, but people just like the fact that, okay, I just have something pending. I like how long it's going to take, and I like that I'm getting a travel permit. If that doesn't appeal to you, then that's why I always say VAWA is your best bet. VAWA or adjustment of status to marriage. These are technically better options because they give you much more. So with asylum, again, you only get this travel permit along the way. And then even after it's approved, you have to wait another year to get a green card. To apply for a green card and get one, at least a year. Could be a year to 2 years. Then after you've applied and now gotten a green card, you're now waiting another 4 years to file for citizenship. So it's a very long process. Nevertheless, I still like it for some clients because some clients don't qualify for adjustment of status to marriage because they're not married. All right. And some clients don't qualify for VAWA because since they're not married, then definitely they're not having any problems in their marriage, right? So they definitely don't qualify for VAWA. So for those clients, asylum is the best bet. I like it for those people, and those people like it for themselves too. All right. So, but long story short, you don't get much from the asylum process other than, again, just a work permit, in the beginning at least, and some savings. It'll save you some time. Basically, it'll give you buy you some time along the way. All right. Without further ado, I'm gonna start taking questions, guys. I'm gonna start taking questions. That's my little spill on asylum, and I can answer any more questions as we go. Well, I can't get off the topic of asylum without discussing my favorite asylum cases, by the way, which are FGM, female genital mutilation. Those are the cases that I love to do. Um, to be honest with you, those are the cases I really learned how to do asylum on. I learned how to do asylum cases on female genital mutilation cases, and gang violence cases, for people who are fleeing either Latin America or Haiti because of gang violence. So these are the cases that I really learned how to do asylum on, and some political violence cases, right, for people who belong in some sort of political group in their home country. So, but my favorite asylum cases, definitely off the bat, of course, female genital mutilation. Very rigorous cases because usually the client is crying when we're doing the declaration. When I'm doing the declaration, they're usually crying. It takes a lot out of them. It takes also a lot out of me. But those are my favorite asylum cases because they just really truly feel like, wow, I'm helping somebody. I'm really helping someone. Can you seek? Can you, if you're an asylum seeker, can you get? Yes, absolutely, you can get married. Um, but I always say it depends on what you put on your asylum application. So if you're on your asylum application, you stated that you are gay or that you're a lesbian, and then you're like marrying a man now. Of course, those will contradict each other. So you always want to remember, what exactly did I put on my asylum application when you're getting married? What exactly did I put in my application when I filed for asylum? That's what you want to think about when you're getting married. But as long as you didn't put anything that contradicts the reason why you're getting married on your asylum application, then you're good to go. Okay. What if you know of a crime that took place in your country and your life is in danger, so you fled? Yes, that could be a good asylum case, only if we can show that somebody is either actually is actively after you still, or that someone or a particular group of people or a particular political group actually came after you 3 years ago before you fled. Okay, so that's my answer to Marsha. Marsha, that would only work if you can show that, in other words, the reason you fled the country is because you knew some secret or something, some organized crime that happened, and that the people who did it were or either already after you before you fled, or are actively looking for you now. In that situation, you'd have a great asylum case. Then yes, in that situation, Marsha, you need to give me a call. Okay. In that situation, you need to call me. All right. I believe I could help you. All right. Can you file for asylum based on political issues? Yes. I thought I talked about that. Yes. Political issues are usually, so the first four, thank you for let me bring it up. So the first four categories I named, that's if you're fleeing, you fled, or you're fleeing your home country because of something you cannot change about yourself easily, that is, such as your race, your nationality, your religion, your political opinion. These first four categories that I mentioned, these are usually the easier cases to win. So if the reason you left your home country fits in this one of these four categories, you are in a safe space. Usually we say you're in a safe space. And as long as you have a good immigration lawyer who's experienced in asylum, and as long as you give your lawyer everything they need from you, and you cooperate with your lawyer, you should literally win that asylum case if it's based on something such as your race, your nationality, your religion, or your political opinion, or someone you know's race, nationality, religion, or political opinion. If you have an asylum case that fits in this one of these four categories, usually these are the easy cases. These are the cases where if your lawyer handles asylum cases and you come to me per se, and your case fits your the reason you fled your home country is because of your race, your nationality, your religion, or your political opinion, or the reason why your life would be in danger if you were to return is because of something like your race, your nationality, your religion, your political opinion. I'm like, yee, thank you, Lord. When I see that, I go like, God loves me. Woo! When you get a case that fits in those first four, usually, especially if you know how to do asylum, you're like, okay, home run. I can get this. I can get this. It doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna win for sure, 100%, but it just means it's so much easier to prove. Whereas anything that fits in the fifth category, these are smaller groups that don't fit into the other four. These are things such as your uh, things such as you being subjected to female genital mutilation, things such as domestic violence. These are things such as you being a victim of gang violence or refusing to join a gang. These are some other smaller groups. These are things like you being a bisexual or a gay person. These are four groups that I just mentioned. These are like smaller groups that don't really necessarily fit into the other four. And when we have a case that fits into these other smaller groups, usually it's a little harder to prove. But of course, amongst those, anything that's like FGM usually is usually a very great case, provided we can prove that you actually underwent FGM, or you had a daughter that underwent FGM and could undergo more if she was to go back. Usually that's a great case, and it's usually still just as easy to prove. uh, and the other one, of course, is someone who's gay or bisexual. If you have actual things that happen to you, proof of it, photos, affidavits, um, and then there's country conditions that would prove that. Let's say, for instance, a country like Jamaica is very, very against same-sex marriages, same-sex relationships. Or if you're coming from an African country, like what is that thing? I think that band was in Uganda. If you're coming from a country like that, it's again very much easier to prove a good asylum case, as long as we can show something actually happened to you when you're in home country. You have proof of it. Uh, then yes, those would be good. Those would be good asylum cases. Can you book a session with me? Yes, absolutely. Let me put my phone number down here: 901-306-7123. Remember, and be advised, my our consultation fee is $150, so it's not free. It is $150. Okay, so yes, but I just put that out there because people say, "Well, you didn't tell me I had to pay," and all sorts of things. Okay, all right, guys, let me start taking questions. Let's start taking questions and start bringing people live. FGM is female genital mutilation. You know that usually in most cultures, even in American culture, men are circumcised even at a younger age, but female genital mutilation is considered a crime against humanity because literally the woman can bleed. Not even the woman. Usually it's the little girl. The little girl can breathe. Bleed and die, and literally many girls have bled and died from female genital mutilation. Not just that, it could cause so many issues with a woman's reproductive system, and it can cause even hygiene issues. It can cause even sexually related issues, like with a woman's inability to be satisfied during intercourse. So it has so many negative effects that it's been deemed by most countries to be a crime against humanity, for any woman, any little girl, to be mutilated in any way. And FGM has like levels. There's level one where they just do a little bit, maybe they just cut the clitoris. Then there's level two, level three, level four. There's really stuff that I don't want to talk about on live video, but it can get really, really crude, and it can get really, really dangerous. And by the way, usually it's done by people who are not doctors, so even the more worse, even the worse, right? So yes, so that's the answer to that question. All right, let me start taking some questions. I realize this is not the best of the most best topic you guys like to talk about, Asylum is a little more dry than VAWA, and it's a little bit more like really serious and in your face, but it's still something good to talk about once in a while, so people know that we do those cases, and we're able to help them if that sounds like them. If you're interested in asylum, filing for asylum, the cases I love to take are if you've never filed for asylum. I prefer not to take the ones where you've already filed, you've already gone for an interview, and they denied you, and then now they put you in deportation proceedings. Those are not my preference, but I'll take those as well. The ones I prefer is when you've never filed before, obviously for obvious reasons, so I can help you write and put together the a good application, good legal brief, all of that from the very beginning. So in other words, I have a chance to create a good story from the beginning. Okay. All right, let me start bringing people in. Take these questions. And guys, so right now is the time to come live if you want to ask me any questions as I bring people live now. Hello? Hello? It's like I'm having trouble. Are you guys? It's like my requests are not going through. Yes, you can go home on a viral case, absolutely. Can a asylum seeker get married? I answered that one. All right. What can I do if I'm not married but I'm being abused and being threatened by my U.S. citizen partner? So it depends on what state you're in, madam. If you're in Tennessee, not sorry, in Tennessee, if you're in Texas, if you're in South Carolina, New Hampshire, um, South Carolina, some of these states that I just mentioned will recognize a relationship just as if it's a marriage. Okay. So cool, Mrs. Cool, Miami. If you're living in one of these states I've mentioned, South Carolina, Texas, New Hampshire, Alabama, some of these states will recognize a common law marriage. Kansas, they will recognize a common law marriage. I think even DC does, just as if you're legally married. Okay, as long as, of course, there's some issues in the marriage, etc. Can they request RFE for medical for request for evidence for medical and vaccines? Yes, absolutely. That's something they can do, and they will do. Yes. Okay, guys. Let me try to bring people live. I prefer to answer these questions live, as you all know. So if you have a question, you really want me to answer it, come live. And by the way, I leave here in 5 minutes. So in exactly 5 minutes, I'm leaving. So if you'd like to ask a question, now is the time. Come live and ask them. People, y'all acting shy today. A 5 out 3 years without lawyer, but I won't try diversity lottery. It's possible. Is it possible? Diversity lottery? Yeah, you can do without yourself. To be honest with you, vow is what you should have used a lawyer for. So I'm not sure how the vow case is going, but most people who do vow case by themselves usually end up coming back to me after they screwed up, and I don't mean that in a bad way. But I'm telling you the truth. I tell the truth. Okay. Do you have people apply for green card that want the asylum case? How much does it cost? Yes, we do. Cost, anything about cost, I never discuss on a live video, madam. So you gotta come and ask me. Hello.
Hey, how are you? How you doing?
Good.
Good. Question: can you travel to any country that you want while you're waiting for the adjustment of status with advance parole?
Yeah, you have adjustment of status based on what, marriage or vow?
Yeah.
Yes, you can go anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're not in deportation proceedings,
you
don't have any criminal fraud issues, you can go anywhere.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. All right. Bring this other person live. My shoulder's kind of hurting. Hello, madam.
Hi, good evening over here.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. So my question is, I already seeked asylum. I already got approved, and next month is going to be 1 year, which I'm supposed to apply for my green card.
Okay.
So I want to know, do you do it for people, and how much does it cost, and how long does it take to get a green card?
We do asylum, but anything about processing times or price, I never discuss on live for ethical and liability reasons. So I can tell you that during our consultation. But yes, we do absolutely.
Oh, okay. And why I'm still, since it's next month, can I go to anywhere except my country? Like, can I travel out?
You can. You're supposed to, but you need a travel permit.
Even when my asylum case has been approved?
Mm-hmm. You need a travel permit.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye. All right. What's the difference between a vow lawyer and a vow advocate? I think it's just terminologies. It should be the same. Should be the same. Advocate, I think, is usually used in European countries. But basically, Miss Dream, you just want to make sure the person has a license to practice in the United States and is licensed to practice at least in one state in the United States if they're doing anything immigration related. Okay. All right. So I'm bringing people in. Give me a second. Okay. Guys, are the it's like the requests are not going to. Hmm. Okay. So I'm okay. Let's see. What's withholding or removal after filing for asylum? So withholding or removal is like a sister of asylum. So withholding or removal, usually you apply for that usually at the same time as an asylum, or it can be applied even on the same application. But withholding or removal gives you usually less benefits. Okay. Whereas asylum can actually lead to a green card. Okay, at least over some time. You're gonna wait, but it will lead to a green card. Okay, it's 5:25. So I'm answering two more questions and I'm gone. What documents do you need to file for asylum? So it depends on what the reason is. So again, I will use FGM as an example. If you're filing for asylum based on female genital mutilation, then usually you need things like eventually you will need a physical exam, of course, to show that you actually went through that. Um, any affidavits from community leaders, village leaders, elders, whoever madam might know about the customs and why you had to go through that, etc. Yeah, it just really depends on what you went through. Okay. All right. Yeah. And then yeah, that's about it, guys. I think I'm gonna go. And I'll be back probably tomorrow, guys. Come back tomorrow. If you have questions, come back tomorrow. Come back ready to speak and talk. Every time I do that, it never fails. Why do y'all wait till I say I'm going? Why? Now I have people requesting to come live. Why do y'all do that? One last person. Take one last person. Oh God. Hello. Hello,
Hi,
sir.
ma'am. How are you?
Good. You waited to the last minute.
Yeah. Well, one of my friend who worked with the U.S. forces in Afghanistan, and he was a captain in Afghanistan in Afghan Air Force. So I really wanted him to bring him to the U.S. And I used to be. I'm also now, I would say, an Afghan American. I have a special immigration visa, or SIV.
Okay.
So I want him to bring him to the U.S. And he has made it to Pakistan, Islamabad, Pakistan, and I want him to. What's the way so that he can get the visa, whether SIV, and I don't think so. He may be able to apply for an SIV or for P2.
So I may not have much advice as to how to get him here to the U.S., but like once he gets here, that would be where I can help.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. No worries.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it a break. 5:30. Let me go. You take care, guys. Any questions you have, bring them back tomorrow. All right, bring them back, and come live. Come ready to come live. Talk to me, okay? Bye, guys. Bye.